Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am so pumped to be here today. If you are joining me live, come in and say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Today, I'm going to be talking about 7 signs to know that you could really benefit from a gut health reset. So 7 signs that there's something up with your gut, how we can get you on a reset, what that looks like, some of the symptoms that you may be experiencing that are showing that there's something up with your gut. So if you're just tuning in, come say hi. I'm excited to talk to you all today. And let's get into it, yeah? I'm going live on Instagram and Facebook, so I think it's all working. Okay, so once again, if you're tuning in as I keep going, then come on and say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I love connecting with you guys and meeting you all. So let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah. So once again, today we're going to be covering like 7 signs that you need a gut reset and kind of what that looks like. How do we do that, right? So first and foremost, when your gut is healthy, the rest of your body also works with you. Yeah, so it's really the epicenter of our health. It is the core of our health. That's because our gut influences everything from our digestion to our brain, to our immune system, to our cardiovascular system. It really influences and impacts everything. So if your gut isn't in its healthiest state, you can be experiencing digestive symptoms for sure, right? A lot of my audience, a lot of the amazing women here in my community experience really bad digestive issues. It goes way further than that too, right? So of course we can have gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, all of that. But there are some less obvious signs as well, and those can look like poor concentration, brain fog, right? Task switching all the time, the inability to focus, anxiety, fatigue, chronic fatigue, you just feel like you're exhausted all the time, skin issues, acne, eczema, different things like this, yeah? So those are some signs like maybe we wouldn't really know that those were connected to gut health initially, right? Okay, so a little bit, let me know like how well educated are you on the topic of gut health? I would love to know, like, are you familiar with gut health? Have you researched it before? Have you tried other modalities before? Or are you like, Hannah, what are you even talking about? All I know is that I have bad bloating and just help me. I would love to know where you all are on this spectrum. So let me know in the comments, yeah? So let's get into some signs that you have an unhealthy gut. So your gut, first and foremost, your gut is home to trillions of bacteria, along with yeast and viruses. They're not all bad, right? That live among the bacteria. These yeast and viruses live among the bacteria. And collectively, this whole combination of microorganisms are called your gut microbiome. Very trendy right now, but for a good reason, yeah? So when the bacteria and the yeast and the viruses that live in your gut are in a state of balance, the rest of your body is in harmony too. However, when things start to get out of whack and the bad bacteria take over the good bacteria, this can lead to an unhealthy gut. And this is also called gut dysbiosis, right? If it's happening in the large intestine. If it's in the small intestine, then we're dealing with something like SIBO. This really negatively affects your body in all sorts of ways, all sorts of areas, right? Not just the bloating, but it can look like bloating. So here are some signs to look out for that are a signal to you, right? If you're trying to get to the root cause of your health issue, here are some signs that you know, oh, this could be my gut, right? Because we have to get to that root cause of the issue. We have to find the center of this issue to be able to get over it, right? So I always like to use the analogy, like if you step on a tack, you can take Advil, right, or Tylenol or whatever, and the pain will go away a little bit, right? But it's gonna come back. You're gonna have to take more Advil. You aren't gonna actually heal, right? And it might even develop an infection later on. It may get worse down the line, right? So what we need to do is remove the tack from your foot. We have to address the root cause of the issue, right? That's what we're doing when we're repairing our gut health. Our gut health is at the epicenter, right? This is the root cause. When we repair our gut health, all of these other issues start to get better. This is one of the reasons why I teach it, because it's so powerful and juicy. And I see, within 3 days, women in my program, the joint pain goes away, hormonal acne goes away, bloating, of course, headaches, all sorts of different things, right? So once we attack that root cause, these other things start to simmer as well, yeah? Okay, cool. So I have some people that are just now learning about gut health. We have another gut health coach. So I know a bit, but there's always new things to learn, because there's always developing science. So cool, awesome. So as I've kind of touched on, sign number 1, right? So I'm going to cover 7 signs here. Sign number 1, hi you guys, please say hi as you're joining, is going to be digestive issues. I know it's kind of obvious, maybe not as obvious, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but usually we connect digestive issues to gut health. So that's going to be sign number 1, right? So what this can look like is gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation. So gas is produced as a normal part of the digestive process, a normal part of the fermentation process in the gut, but some strains of bacteria tend to produce more gas than others. And if we have an overgrowth of this bad bacteria, then we may have an increase in the gas being produced, aka in bloating, right? This can be harmful in a multitude of ways, but this gas can get trapped. Obviously, it's really uncomfortable, right? So once again, it's not about like drinking peppermint tea for the gas. It's like what's causing the gas, why are we getting the gas, and that's causing the bloating, right? Always digging deeper for that root cause, because I want you guys to get results that last, right? So, hi Lisa, awesome. So, okay, so that's kind of gas and bloating, right? Then we've got diarrhea. So occasional diarrhea, like this happens for most of us at some point, right? Butterflies in our tummy, an excited moment, when we're really nervous, maybe when we're traveling, something like that. But chronic diarrhea that happens over and over again can actually be quite dangerous, right? So this is also a sign that we have a bacterial overgrowth happening, or we may have a bacterial infection. So once again, we want to address those gut bacteria. Hi, Cody. So diarrhea can also make gut health worse because it can start pushing out the good bacteria in your gut, right? So this is why I also like really love to harp on prebiotics being just as important as probiotics, because if we're taking the probiotic and then it's just leaving our system and we're not feeding it properly, if our food choices aren't supporting the overall system, right, then we're not going to get the results that we want, because these probiotics are just going to come in and they're going to go right out. It's a waste of your money, right? Like don't be buying a $50 probiotic, A, if you don't know if it works, B, if it's not like high quality medical grade, and C, if you're not going to be supporting it and really growing and fertilizing those seeds, growing that garden in your gut. But if you're just eating a diet that isn't supportive, and then it's just coming in and coming out, right? So also, diarrhea can lead to nutrient deficiencies, dehydration. We don't want I was just talking to someone about this yesterday. We don't want our food coming into our bodies and leaving too quickly. It should take 21 to 24 hours. But we don't want it leaving too quickly, because then we're not going to be absorbing the nutrients in our food. So once again, I want to make sure that you guys have all of this covered, because what we don't want to be doing is thinking we're eating all the healthy, good foods for us, and then we're not even absorbing them, right? So we aren't what we eat, we are what we digest and absorb and assimilate. So then we have constipation. There are many underlying causes of constipation as well, but one scientific review points out that functional constipation, so people that have it, daily and they can still live their lives and all of that kind of stuff, and IBS, the connection between these with constipation is connected to a gut imbalance. This is something that we see, this is something that science has shown as well. So if you're dealing with constipation, it's really time to address your gut health and your stress and your emotional body and your emotional mental health too, right? So, awesome. So once again, to recap, number 1 sign is going to be really digestive issues. Stomach pain also fits into this. If you guys have any questions along the way, please send them in. Number 2 is going to be mood disorders, poor concentration. So this is going to be things like anxiety, depression, poor concentration, brain fog, right? And this is because of that gut-brain connection that I feel like I talk about a lot because it's so important, right? So just for you to understand this conceptually, like right now, we have a strong gut-brain connection, right? So there are actually more messages sent from our gut to our brain than from our brain to our body. So we put so much emphasis on like our brain and our thinking brain, but really our gut is our second brain, if not like our first brain. But the gut and the brain actually start from the same embryonic place, and then one goes up and one goes down. So they retain memory for each other. And for you to really feel this in your body now, like we've all experienced getting butterflies in our tummy when we perceive something as exciting or intense or we're scared, right? That's exactly we are conceptualizing something, we're feeling it, and then our stomach, we literally feel it inside of our bellies, right? So that's kind of an example, a way that you can really know and tap into the fact that this connection exists. But how it can also really play out is anxiety, depression, brain fog, difficulty concentrating, irritability, like the back and forth, the ability to go from like 0 to 100, right? And just like, we kind of lose that filter a little bit, we lose that in between a little bit. This can also come back to our gut health as well. Okay, so number 3, we've got skin inflammation and acne. And I have a full other video on my Instagram about, and I'm pretty sure my Facebook as well, on the connection between the gut and skin, right? So if you want to watch that full video, it's on my IGTV. I go into it in depth, but usually when we have an acne issue, a skin issue, something like that, a lot of people are immediately go to think like topical products, right? So topical skincare products like acne washes, toner, like moisturizers, all of that. We're like, oh no, are we sweating too much? Is our pillow clean? All these kind of like external things. But really, in many cases, your gut is to blame for this. So your gut is in direct communication with your skin through something that's called the gut-skin axis. So we have the gut-brain axis, and then we also have the gut-skin axis. And the gut plays a role in skin homeostasis and inflammatory responses. It also plays a role in how we, in our insulin resistance, right? And insulin is a pro-inflammatory hormone. I don't want to get too into it, but insulin is a pro-inflammatory hormone. And when we experience big bumps in insulin, that can break out the skin as well, right? It's inflammation. So it's going to trigger inflammation in our system. What that can look like is acne, is skin issues, is eczema, right? Also, our skin has its own microbiome, and the bacteria in our gut directly impact and influence the bacteria on our skin. So once again, an imbalance in these bacteria can look like acne, atopic dermatitis, psoriasis, all sorts of different things like that. So if you're someone that's dealt with like cystic acne and you haven't addressed your gut health really thoroughly yet, now is the time. Okay, cool. So number 4 sign that we are in need of a good gut reset is that we are experiencing really big sugar cravings. So what we eat, we crave, and it's not as simple as it's because we're eating it, but it's also because what we eat builds our gut bacteria. So it's kind of like this vicious circle if we're not doing it correctly, right? So if we're eating the really high sugar foods, the processed carbohydrates, all of that kind of stuff, then we're feeding those gut bacteria, and then those gut bacteria are craving those things. So if we don't break that cycle, which may feel a little difficult for a period of time, but we've got all the tricks, right? If you have my cookbook, you know. But if we don't break that cycle, we're going to continue to have these sugar cravings. We're going to continue to have these carbohydrate cravings. We're going to continue to crave these foods that really don't support us. They don't support our goals. They don't support our health. They don't support what we're trying to get out of this whole process, right? So it's not about restriction, but it's about like embracing the process so it gets easier over time, right? Like this is an exact example that this is going to get easier as we continue to go because our gut bacteria are going to start to crave what we eat more. We are readjusting the composition of our gut bacteria. For example, this morning for breakfast, I usually have my smoothie. I didn't really feel like it. I had some avocado and some kale and some black beans. Like I used to eat toaster strudels and French toast sticks that I would dunk in a microwaved plastic syrup, which was probably just high fructose corn syrup. I used to eat, my body has changed. My cravings have changed. I have no desire. I don't want those things anymore, you know? It's not because I'm afraid of what will happen if I eat them. It's not because I really want to eat them and I'm restricting myself and not eating them. It's that my body, my gut bacteria, literally does not crave those things anymore. So this whole process gets a lot easier as we go on. So never lose hope. It can feel a little like tough at first, of course, when we start switching it up, but we can totally override that and overcome that. So going back to this, sugar cravings are a sign that we have something up with the gut. Specifically, it could be an overgrowth of bacteria or yeast, like something like candida, right? Because yeast thrives on sugar. So when we have an overgrowth of yeast, we really want more and more sugar, right? So this is when we have sugar cravings and you're like, these are uncontrollable. I feel like I have to give in to these, right? You don't have to live that way for the rest of your life. And I know how defeating it can be too, because you're trying to eat healthy and then you have these cravings and you're fighting these cravings. We want to get you to the point where you're not fighting these cravings anymore, right? You don't need to be fighting your cravings. We want to get your body back on your side so you don't even really have the cravings anymore. And that doesn't mean you can never eat these things either, right? Like, you can still eat them here and there. Okay, sign number 5 is going to be chronic fatigue. So there's a really exciting study here. Maybe you're not as into it as I am. I'm very into it. Like, everything that I teach is very science-backed. So research shows that people with chronic fatigue syndrome have abnormal levels of certain types of gut bacteria, and the connection between an unhealthy gut microbiome and chronic fatigue is so strong that one study actually estimates that 80% of people with chronic fatigue could be diagnosed by simply looking at their gut bacteria. That's pretty amazing, right? These gut bacteria can literally show us, like, before we even need to say we're freaking exhausted and can't get out of bed and have to drag our feet through the day and our lives are not as like juicy and vibrant as we want. We don't have to say that. We can look at the gut bacteria and already kind of know that, right? That's huge. So if you are feeling like you are uninspired, like you're dragging your feet throughout your day, like you don't want to wake up, you don't want to get out of bed, you're snoozing that alarm, this is a sign that we need to really get you on a good, thorough gut reset, and you'll be feeling a million times better. I'm told all the time that I have lots of energy, and it's not a facade. Like, it's totally real. I have this energy. I've put in a lot of work to really repair and reset my gut. Also, in addition to that, an unhealthy gut can negatively affect our circadian rhythms, which can disrupt our sleep and leave you feeling tired really all day during the day, right? So it kind of plays an impact in a multitude of ways. Sign number 6 is going to be weight gain and obesity. So there are several factors that contribute to weight gain, to weight loss resistance, but the bacteria in your gut is one that's really often overlooked. So one study actually showed that the gut microbiome in lean and in overweight twins, it looked at these and it found that the overweight twins actually had reduced bacterial diversity, or fewer strains of the gut bacteria, fewer strains of bacteria in their gut, right? So I don't talk about weight loss very often. It's not my area of focus. I care way more about your health, your vibrancy, your happiness before that, right? But if you feel like you are someone who it's not budging, something's going on, it's not budging, and you feel like you're doing everything right, and it's really holding you back, and it's taking away from your quality of life, then we need to look at your gut health here. Certain types of bacteria can also influence weight gain, right? Since bacteria help break down our food and the way that our body absorbs nutrients. So we've also seen some science show us that different strains of gut bacteria actually absorb different amounts of calories from the foods that we eat. And then, of course, when you think full circle, going back to those cravings, certain bacterias have us craving sugar more, right? Which is not going to, it's gonna make the process a lot harder. And I don't like teaching anything where it's like, I don't want us fighting our bodies all day. I want us working with our bodies. We want to get our body back on our side, right? That's like one of my favorite mottos. For years and years, I felt like I was just totally fighting my body. I wanted this, I didn't have it. I wanted this, I didn't have it. It was this very like, inflammatory, negative process, right? Constantly at war with my body. We want to get your body on your side to make all of this easier, right? Your energy is there, your vibrancy is there, your skin is already glowing, you're sleeping through the night, right? This is all totally possible. We just have to take a look at your gut health. Okay, so the 7th sign here, I feel like I could go into like 37 signs, but the 7th sign where I'll end today is gonna be autoimmune diseases. So I worked with a lot of women that have been diagnosed with autoimmune diseases. Your gut microbiome directly influences your immune system because most of your immune system is actually in your gut, right? So when your gut is healthy, your immune system is healthy. Extra important right now, right? When we're dealing in this time in the world, in this time where we are all hoping to not get something that could take us out, right? We really want to strengthen our gut health because most of our immune system lies here. This could not be more important. I also did a full video on that on my Instagram as well. I believe. It's definitely on my Facebook, so go check it out there if you want to learn more about that immune system and gut connection. Like, could not be more important, right? So what this looks like with autoimmune disease is when things are imbalanced in the gut, it can lead to immune abnormalities like autoimmune diseases. And research has actually connected an unhealthy gut to several autoimmune diseases, including rheumatoid arthritis. I used to have a student that had rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, MS, autoimmune liver disease. If you have been diagnosed with something like Hashimoto's, like a thyroid autoimmune condition, really all of these, your gut health impacts. Autoimmune disease starts in the gut. So really, really important to take a look and get on a thorough gut reset, repairing process, right? To actually overcome these symptoms and or really, really better manage them. And one that I didn't really talk about too much here that I'll mention quickly, so if we were to make this 8 signs, is going to be hormonal issues. So anyone that knows who they're talking about, if you're dealing with hormonal issues, is going to take first and foremost a look at your gut. Whether it's PCOS, it's estrogen dominance, it's high cortisol, whatever it may be, your gut health is so important to this because it influences everything. It influences inflammation. If we're not going to the bathroom, we will have excess estrogen, right? When we eliminate, we get rid of this excess estrogen. Insulin, right? Serotonin is produced in the gut. All of these different hormones. We actually have something called the estrobolome, which is like its own little club of hormones that are in the gut, right? So if you're dealing with something, a hormonal issue, we have to take a look at your gut health as well. And what that could also look like, just like in your real life, is really bad PMS symptoms, right? I mean, PMS is premenstrual symptoms, but bad PMS, right? So you get really bad cramping, really bad bloating. It's somewhat normal, I think, for your digestion to be a little off, right? A little off when we're at that time of the month. But overall, we shouldn't be dealing with like symptoms that have you taking Advil all day long in the bathtub. That's not how it should be, right? Like writhing pain. I've also been there. But I can happily say like my last cycle, my last menstrual phase, was so fine. Once again, I didn't really realize it could be like that for a long time. And I know a lot of women go on birth control to help diminish their symptoms, but that's really just masking it. We don't want to just mask it, right? We don't want to put a Band-Aid over the tack in our foot. We want to take the tack out of our foot, right? Get to the root cause, take that tack out of our foot, and then we can repair, yeah? Okay, cool. Do we have any questions, you guys? I'm gonna jump into a little bit more like what causes gut issues. So, but let me hit me with the questions as we're going if you have them. So, poor diet is gonna be like one of the biggest causes of gut issues because what we eat directly impacts our gut, right? So that's why I have my free 3-day gut reset, because once we adjust our food, the gut microbiome, the composition of the gut microbiome can shift in like 24 hours. I used to be under the impression that it was like 72 hours, which is why I made it 3 days. And more recent research has shown like it can shift in literally 24 hours because of the food that we're directly eating. Yeah. That doesn't mean you can heal everything in one day. Don't get it twisted. But it's a great place to start. So this is why my 3-day gut reset focuses on the food, all gut healthy foods, really calm down the inflammation, positively impact the composition of the gut microbiome, and start to feel better. Yeah. So, hi Kayla. So cool, poor diet is one of the biggest causes of gut health issues. We kind of know that, most of us kind of know that because good bacteria thrive on things like fiber and plant foods. They love these things, right? Bad bacteria, they love processed foods and sugars. And when your diet is full of processed foods and sugars, like the standard American diet, these well-fed bacteria start to overtake the good bacteria. So your diet is so important when it comes to your gut health, right? Immediately impacts your gut health. I mean, this food is going inside of your body. It's going inside of your body. So it's very important, right? And while diet is very important, it's not the only thing that matters. So my online program, Healing Guts and Shaken Butts, we cover food, we cover supplements, we cover stress, we cover lifestyle factors. I've got a section in there literally about joy. It's a full comprehensive program, and it's a full process. It takes a holistic approach, right? Because I always say you can't just be chugging your green smoothie, running down the street, to your job that you hate, not sleeping, you're stressed out, you're in a relationship that sucks, you're drinking. Like, that's not gonna work, right? You're not happy, you're not healthy. Health is holistic. So you can't do it all with food either. So other things that are going to contribute to gut health imbalances are going to be chronic stress. This is a huge one. Trauma, right? If we've endured big bouts of trauma in our life, most of us have in some way, shape, or form. This is going to impact our gut health and our ability to heal. Frequent antibiotic use, lots of medication use. Traveling can impact it. Food intolerances. Poor sleep, right? Sleep is so important, and alcohol, of course. So those are going to be kind of the things that really influence our gut health, and how do we support our gut, right? So now we kind of know what we're looking out for. We know what can cause these gut health issues, and let's take a look at what do we need to do to overcome this? What is it going to look like, right? So once again, my online program, Healing Guts and Shaken Butts, we cover all areas of this, right? So we have to remove the bad bacteria. We have to repopulate the gut with good bacteria. We have to remove those common toxic trigger foods, those things that tick most of us off, that create that inflammation. We have to reignite the body's ability to produce digestive enzymes. We may need a little bit of support there. Some stomach acid. Stomach acid can get really suppressed when we're taking things like PPIs that literally are there to suppress stomach acid, right? Not good. We don't want to be on those long term. It can cause a cascade of issues, especially SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, lots and lots of bloating, right? And nutrient deficiencies and all things. But it takes a comprehensive process. So we have to address the gut bacteria. We have to address the gut lining, very, very important. We have to take a look at our lifestyle. Take a look at our nervous system. Are we in fight or flight response constantly, right? The body cannot heal in a state of fight or flight. It can't do it. We have to enter into that parasympathetic nervous system response so the body can do its thing, right? Throughout this process, our sleep gets better. When we sleep, we repair. Our brain switches around cerebral spinal fluid. Our gut gets to relax and repair. We get to literally reset for the next day. So we have to do all of these things, right? So to quickly recap that, we have to clean up the diet first and foremost, get in those high fiber foods, take out those inflammatory foods, get in those omega-3s, right? Take away those sugars, those processed foods, all of that kind of stuff. Bring in those polyphenols, those antioxidants, the prebiotics, all of those really good, juicy, vibrant foods. And then we also want to take a look at repopulating the gut flora. Maybe something like a probiotic is in order, but we can't just take the probiotic and assume it's going to take care of everything, right? It takes all of these steps in the process to actually get the results that you want. So this isn't to make it sound complicated, because I have it all packaged up in my program. It's not that complicated, but I just want you to know that it takes all of these pieces of the puzzle. And if you haven't been doing all of these things together and you haven't been getting the results that you want, that's kind of a good sign, right? Because you're like, okay, cool, I just haven't been doing all of these things, so now we'll try this. Now we'll go ahead and do this. So if we've been taking just a probiotic, or we just tried low FODMAP, or we just did a cleanse, or whatever it may be, or we just started apple cider vinegar, or whatever it may be, right? It's not enough. So don't lose hope. We just have to add in a few more things, get into that comprehensive program, and really support you all around. Yeah. We want to identify any specific triggers. We also want you to start to get to know your body. Like, start to get to know what your body likes, what your body doesn't like, how foods make you feel. We all have very individual gut microbiomes. There's a general, all this education is helpful for basically all of us, but our gut microbiomes are as unique to us as our fingerprint, right? So we want to get to know, we want to get to know ourselves. When do we start eating these foods that no longer serve us? What's causing that? How does my body feel when I eat these foods? How does my body feel when I eat these foods? Oh wow, I noticed that I was really stressed in eating this meal. That caused my bloating, right? So we want to get to know ourselves. Like, I wish I could give you this whole outline of all of these things to do, and I can, but if you don't really get inquisitive with yourself to learn these things as well, you won't get the results that you're looking for, because you have to get to know your body, right? And the value of this is, this is worth it's weight in gold. Like, this is information that you take with you for the rest of your life, right? This is not a fad. This is not a trend diet. This is not a random cleanse. That's not a skinny tea, right? Like, this is education that you learn about your body for the rest of your life, so you can live with ease, with freedom, with health, yeah? So we want to eliminate those specific triggers that we have. We want to move our body regularly in ways that we enjoy, in ways that we like. Too much exercise, cortisol producing exercise like long distance running, like too much HIIT, high intensity interval training, like really hot yoga. These can all really spike our cortisol. It's not supportive of our gut health, especially if we need a lot of repairing, right? So if we are like at a healthy, happy state, we may be able to handle those things, right? But if we need some gut health work, we need some repairing work, these types of exercise are not supporting us. And a lot of my students are very resistant to that, and it has to be part of the healing process. If you're doing all of these things and you're pounding your body into the ground, or you're not moving at all, we're not getting our bang for our buck. We're not getting in the results that we want, the results that we can get with all of the effort that we're already putting in. So we want to take a look at our exercise as well. We definitely want to take a look at our stress. Stress is huge. It is so important. When we're stressed and our cortisol levels increase, they rise, we enter that fight or flight nervous system response. This is so important, because when we enter this fight or flight nervous system response, it's the sympathetic nervous system response, our body cannot heal itself, and B, blood flow is literally taken away from digestion and put in places that are quote unquote more important, right? Because when we're in a state of stress and our bodies are trying to like flee the scene, run from the tiger, run from the bad guy, digestion is a total afterthought, right? So if we're eating in a state of stress, or around our meal, or we're just existing in a state of stress, and I know stress can be very high right now, I understand, this is why it's even more important to have these lifestyle tools in our toolbox to help us reduce our stress levels, so our digestive system actually works. Because when that all turns off, when that blood goes away from our digestive system, when we're in that state of stress, digestion is not even a thing. So what does that look like in your body? It looks like gas, it looks like bloating, it looks like constipation, it looks like stomach pain, it looks like anxiety, right? So we really want to take a look at our stress levels and learn tools that we can use for the rest of our lives to build that nervous system resilience, activate and tone that vagus nerve, and help us stay in a state of calm and not get so panicky, and have our digestive system like actually working more for us. Awesome. And it also, the food plays a part in that as well, because certain foods are going to trigger that cortisol response too. So once again, it's a fully comprehensive program. Intermittent fasting can be helpful for bits of this too. I kind of talk about this in my program. I have a certain way that I like to do it. I don't recommend that people jump into 16-hour fasts. Very stressful in the body, especially for women. A lot of the science, and I mentioned this in my last live actually, a lot of the science that backs intermittent fasting has been done on mice, rats, and men. If you are a woman with hormones that shift constantly, you have multiple phases of your cycle, this may not be the best answer for you. Especially, I would say, let's find a happy medium, yeah? Let's find a happy medium that works for us, where we can give ourselves a good gut break, but we also don't trigger that cortisol response, trigger a panic attack or anxiety, and turn off that digestive system, right? So we want to find that balance. This is incorporated in a day in the life on my program, because it's really important and it can make a difference. It can be really helpful. So to really summarize all of this, giving your gut a break can shift your life. Repairing your gut can absolutely shift your life, right? Chronic digestive issues like gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, these are all signs of an unhealthy gut. But imbalances in your gut microbiome can also look like these widespread issues that we talked about, right? So quickly to recap these 7 signs, we've got digestive issues, gas, bloating, loose stool, stomach pain, constipation, right? Then we've got mood disorders and poor concentration, things like brain fog, anxiety, depression, irritability, inability to focus, right? You're start this task, and then you start this task, and then you start this task, and you're what am I even doing? This can go back to your gut. We've got skin inflammation and acne, eczema, things like that, cystic acne. Then we've got sugar cravings. Then we've got chronic fatigue, exhaustion, you're like dragging your feet throughout the day. We've got weight gain, weight loss resistance, and obesity. And then we've got autoimmune diseases. And then that last one that I kind of tacked on because I was thinking about it is hormonal issues, right? This is all traced back to your gut health. Awesome. Do we have any questions, you guys? Let me know. I'll stay on here for a few more minutes. I got my notes here. I want to make sure that I got everything in for you guys. Let's see here. The good thing is that we can make a difference in this, right? Like we can go through a comprehensive gut transformation process, a thorough gut reset, and we can shift these things. I mean, our body is incredibly resilient. It wants to feel better. It's on our side. It wants to work with us. We just have to give it the right conditions. And I know how overwhelming it can be too, right? You read information all over the internet. It's like so confusing. One person says this thing, one person says that thing. Then you're in the Google deep dive. Then you don't know what to believe. Like, I know. Deep breath. Follow someone that knows what they're talking about, whether that's me or someone else, right? Get on a comprehensive program. Okay, so I have a few questions here. Lisa says, can you do a gut reset and get better gut health naturally without taking a probiotic? Yeah, I mean, I think yes. I think probiotics are a great tool. I also really want to emphasize that there's no way that a probiotic can fix all of our issues, but there's also no way that a probiotic can repopulate all the strains that we need, right? So going back to what I said earlier, our gut microbiome is comprised of trillions of bacteria. If you get like a good quality probiotic, it probably has like 12 different strains, 15, maybe 20, right? But we're talking trillions of bacteria here. So there's no way that a probiotic could repopulate all of those, right? So this is why, once again, we want to get you on a comprehensive program to make sure that you're feeding the right strains, you're getting bacterial strains through other things, right? I really like to encourage people to get outside. There are trillions of microbes outside. Take a walk in nature. Get into environments that you haven't been in before. Not like city polluted environments, but go for a hike, go to the ocean, go to these places. You're literally going to take in these microbes, and this bacteria is good for you. So a probiotic cannot fix everything. It's like slapping a Band-Aid on top of when you need your leg amputated. It's just like not enough. It's not going to do it, right? If you're not doing these other things. Can you repair your gut without taking a probiotic? Yeah, I think so. We just have to make sure that we're doing all the other things as well. They're kind of just a tool, right? They're kind of just a tool. Also, if you have responded negatively to a probiotic in the past, that's a sign that we've got an overgrowth of bad bacteria as well. So if you're like, I get really bloated and my stomach hurts when I take probiotics, that's a further sign that we need a gut reset, because you've got an overgrowth there that's feeding those bad bacteria that are already in there. Okay, cool. So let me get to these questions here, and then we'll wrap it up. I missed the part about bloating. What's your biggest tips for bloating? My biggest thing is to get on an actual gut repairing program, or else it's just gonna come back. The issues are just gonna come back. I don't want you guys wasting your time and your money, and I don't want in your effort doing these like one-off random things and not getting the results that you want. You know, so you wanna hit all angles of the gut. You wanna hit your gut lining, your gut bacteria, your inflammation. You wanna hit your microvilli. There's all these different areas of the gut that we really want to take into consideration here. Your digestive enzymes, your stomach acid production, right? These all really make a difference. They're all going to impact and affect your bloating. So that's kind of my tip, is to get on a program, a thorough program that addresses all of these things. My online program is going to be opening up in a few short weeks. It's called Healing Guts and Shaken Butts. It takes you through my exact process to all of these things. What I've really done is I've taken all of the information that I've learned after like 10 years of research and working under some amazing practitioners, and I have compiled it, and dealing with my own issues. I struggled with my own personal issues, right? Felt like I couldn't even eat an apple, like days where I was like, I'm never gonna get better, I couldn't eat anything, right? I've just compiled all of that information and put it in one place for you and made it fun and help coach you through it and answer questions and help hold you accountable and all of that goodness. So that's going to be opening in a few weeks. If you're interested in that, please send me a DM. I can send you more info. I can get you on the wait list. The wait list is already like populating. People are already getting on that wait list. So please reach out if you're interested. It'll be opening in a few short weeks. What will the program include? I think I kind of just covered that. But my program it covers my entire step-by-step process. You get my cookbook that is scientifically designed to better your gut health, right? We've taken out all of the unnecessary things that promote inflammation. We've added in lots of the antioxidants, polyphenols, plant-rich foods, omega-3s, all of this goodness. So you don't have to go searching everywhere for it. These meals are delicious. I co-authored the cookbook with my head chef. She's a classically trained culinary chef. This woman can make anything taste good, but she's also really amazing at making foods that are usually like not the most health supportive and making them healthier. So it's like still we get these really delicious foods. It's not all salads. Honestly, if you have leaky gut, I actually wouldn't recommend eating salad because it can be harder to digest. So yes, on top of all of that, on top of just those things, that's worth the program alone. I do 4 coaching sessions. We have, I believe, 2 Q&As. I'm bringing on a practicing physician. Her name is Dr. Saima Bhatti. She is a doctor of Oriental medicine. We're going to be able to give you guys access to testing to see if you're interested in that, to get the exact cause of what's happening. If you want it, you can schedule an appointment with her to get an analysis of these gut tests. If you want to get a food sensitivity test, if you want to get a stool analysis test, I love working with the stool analysis test because that way we can identify if there's something like H. pylori, if there's a parasite, these things won't be picked up by a colonoscopy or an endoscopy, right? So I'm actually going to do a whole other Instagram and Facebook Live on that topic, but these could be the root cause of all of your issues. So we're going to be able to offer you access to that testing as well. You also get an online community. You get to go through this process with people that are experiencing the exact same thing, which I know how lonely it can seem and feel. In my last round, I literally had the women in the program I was like crying. They were supporting each other so much, and they wanted to meet outside of the group to talk through the process together. Like, this community is next level. It's amazing. So you're held accountable. You're in community. You're supported. I'm there to answer questions, right? Dr. Simon is going to be in there to answer questions. We take care of you. So that's kind of the program wrapped up. Okay, another question. Do you think poor gut health can lead to issues like hemorrhoids? Recently fallen victim to this, and I know my gut health isn't great. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Because if we're having an issue going to the bathroom, usually something's up with our gut, right? I mean, how could it not be? Our gut is literally, that's where the stool is even formed, right? So, short answer, yes. And what's also nice is like when you start eating these supportive foods, it's not really like anything bad happens, you're just like supporting your body better. Okay, hello you guys, hello. Okay, awesome. So, how do I look into your program? Just shoot me a DM, Lisa, Terry, what is a DM? A direct message. Or you can send, if you're on Facebook, I'm live on both. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and send my profile a private message. I'll get you some information about the program. And if you're on Instagram with me and you're like, I need this, shoot me a DM. Just go to my account and hit message. Reach out to me. I'm here to help you. Lisa, you're so welcome. Awesome information. Thank you for sharing. You are so welcome. This is like a true honor, and I couldn't be happier sharing this information with you guys. So if there are any last minute questions, let them come through now, or else I'm gonna hop off this. Oops, let's see. I'm gonna hop off. I don't see any more questions. Okay, cool. If you guys have any other questions about this process, about my program, if you're like, will this help me? Will this work for me? I don't know what to do next. I'm overwhelmed. I've got you. Yeah, so reach out. Please, meeting you makes my entire life. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you. Thank you, very informative. You're so welcome. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, Rachel. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys liked this. Thanks for hanging with me for almost 45 minutes. And you're welcome, Terry. Okay, I'm gonna hop off, you guys. I've got clients today, and sending you lots and lots of love. And I'm gonna be going live every week for the whole month of September. And I'm going to be teaching a bomb gut health masterclass at the end of the month. So stay tuned. You want to get in on this masterclass. It's going to be such a party. Awesome. Have a good day, you guys. Bye.